What's the craziest thing that
Oh,
you've
gosh.
had?
Okay, you guys are going to laugh at this one. Only this person this would happen to, too. But I have a client who has a Tahoe cabin, on the California side. And whatever reason, a bear decided to climb inside of the car in the middle of the night, lock itself in, and it couldn't get itself out. And it just freaked out, ripped everything out inside of the car, completely totaled the car. The car was like demolished. But this whole scenario, like I've never heard of the story like that before. Like where a bear gets itself in a car and locks itself in.
So the car wasn't locked
Yeah.
when he got in, but he locked himself in
Yeah.
and then destroyed it.
That was fault number one. You didn't lock the door in
Didn't
Tahoe.
lock the door in Tahoe.
You think you're safe in Tahoe, right?
Yeah.
You're like, not from the bears, you're not.
Not from the bears. Wow. So just getting the bear out of the car was probably fun.
Yeah, they had to call whoever. I think it was like it was pretty crazy. They had to taser it or tranquilize it and
Oh my
remove
gosh.
it. And I'm like, this is one of my
Poor
clients.
bear.
I'm like, wow. I was like, well, I don't hear that story every day.
That's awesome. I think I've seen a video either on TikTok or Instagram at some point of like a bear that was locked in a car and people going and like tying a rope to the door handle and then running away and like to yank the door open to let the bear out.
Yeah,
type of.
I asked her too. I was like, did you please tell me you got some video of this that I could use?
Right.
Please. She's like, we were freaked out. We didn't think about it.
Was the car even drivable? Like the steering wheel had been ripped off and the dashboard and
Yeah, it was just that kind of stuff was like okay, but the seats were gone and like it was just totally to shreds. Yeah, pretty much.
That's wild. Well, I would imagine too with some. I mean, got cars, things that happen in houses that you call it. I mean, the accidents and the weird things that happen to us as human beings extend to the houses that we insure and the cars. Anything on like with homes and what's the craziest thing you've had to deal with as far as a claim on a home or a follow up from one of your clients calling going, hey. This happened in my home, and I'm not sure what to do.
I would probably say like the craziest things that we've had is a couple times I've had cars running into houses just out of the blue. They're all asleep at night, and all of a sudden, just a car just runs into their house, like into their living room. And I actually have had a client on the other end. They were driving the car that ran in. I was like, that's great. He had got his foot stuck in the pedal and just couldn't get his foot out for I don't know how, but he ran into the house. Like, I mean, that was kind of devastating too, because he was doing the state limits and didn't think that running into the house, he's like, my car's not worth that much, whatever. So he did like the 15,000, 30,000 liability.
Oh.
Well, there's a house is a lot bigger of a number. So their coverage didn't cover it all the way. And he was like, well, what do you mean it's not going to cover it? So a lot of people think that if that's all I'm covered for, that's all I pay. No, if the damages exceeds that, you pay the difference. So you have to make sure your liability and as coverage is, because it's not just liability. It's like if you run into someone else's house, you pay for that structure of the home. That doesn't come out of the property. That's property for your car. The liability comes out of that. So if you only have 15,000, this is the other thing that people don't realize. That first number, 15,000, is per person or per incident. And then 30,000 is for the whole incident. So let's say there's two people in the vehicle, right? Then you get 15 and 15, you get paid out, right? That's just very simple terms, right? But if there's only one person involved, 15 is the most. It's not going to go all the way to 30,000. So you get 250,000, 500,000, same scenario, right?
Scenario, yeah.
Well, we ran into the house. That was like $100,000 in damage because it was structural. It caused a lot of structural damage that they had to kind of rebuild out, and that. I got sued and, the whole thing. So,
I had a friend in high school that was coming home from work one night late out in the country, fell asleep, cruise control on, turn in the road, kept going, launched himself, and he went completely through someone's house.
Yep.
Doing 70 miles an hour.
Oh my gosh.
And luckily it didn't kill anybody, but it
Can you
basically,
imagine?
they had to rebuild the entire house.
Yeah.
Of course, now this is back in, 76, but so it wasn't as, wasn't as expensive, but wow.
Yeah. He's lucky he didn't hurt anybody.
Oh, yeah, he's lucky he didn't kill them in their beds.
That part of the human, I think the insurance thing, right? For most of us, right? Insurance is the thing that we don't really want to deal with until we need it, right?
Yeah.
And I think I was 18 years old playing basketball at Fresno State and lived in Sacramento. I remember I fell asleep at the wheel. I think that it's kind of changed my life as far as not falling into one of those traps, right? Christmas, we had practice Christmas Eve's day, Christmas Eve in the morning, drove home, did Christmas with my family, stayed up late, midnight mass, the whole nine, and then had to get up and drive back to Fresno for practice and get on a plane to go fly to Hawaii for games. So it was like a really short order. I was doing a lot, 18 years old, and I think I'm superhuman. Falling asleep the whole way down on 99 and just fought it. And then I made it to Fresno, got off on the exit, and it's just a long shot to the campus, and we had practice. I didn't want to be late. So during this long shot, Herndon is the street for anybody who knows Fresno. That's when I finally fell asleep, and I was driving straight. And
that curve going over the bridge.
Not even over the bridge. It was just a straight shot, all the power poles line, and I drifted off. But I tell the story only because on the insurance side, I would have ended up probably just head on into one of the power poles, but luckily I was in the fast lane and I veered over and I banged into this 70 some odd little old sweet lady that had never been in an accident in her entire life, and I just veered right into her car and we collided and got out, and of course she was super nice, but she had to tell me that she's been driving for like 60 years and never been in an accident, and here I am.
You
like
broke that for her.
High five, dude.
I'm like, awesome. I'm like, but you probably saved my life because I probably would have been, into one of those, pulls. But it's changed the way that I've always approached, like when I get sleepy. But the insurance element, like all of us at some point have stories like that where something just really bizarre happens, or and
it shakes you up.
It does. It shakes the way that you think or you see the world, and whether or not you have insurance to kind of help, like it can be like a life-changing, or it can just be one of those, moments. But, when you talk to people about insurance, like how often do you deal with people that, are trying to navigate that, like you were just touching on, the coverage and the idea of, well, I don't want to spend that money because I don't feel like I'll ever use it. I have to imagine there's a conversation you have to help people to understand, like, as much as you don't think this is worth it, it will be more than worth it if you actually ever need to use it type of a deal.
I definitely have a story that I tell them every single time. And it's, I just try to put it into perspective, especially if they own a home. I'm like, you're not in a luxury to have these low limits. If you have teenage drivers, you're not in a luxury to do that. And I tell my clients too, I'm like, I won't do it for you, to be honest. I mean, you can go to the General, or you can go to one of those guys over by the DMV if you want to do low state limits, because me in good faith, I just can't do that with you. I just don't want that on my conscience. I'd rather send it somewhere else. And they'll find too, it's not that huge of a price difference, because the insurance companies see people who want those low limits as higher risk thinkers.